So this is the latest pair of AR glasses from Ray Neo. They're called the Air 3S, and they're giving you a 200-inch, or they say 201, it's very specific, display experience on some pretty thin glasses that look sort of like typical glasses. I mean, they're obviously gonna be a little bit thicker, but they're extremely lightweight for what they are. And part of that is because the video components, like what you're gonna be supplying to this in order to look at, is gonna be in your pocket. It's either gonna be your smartphone, it could be your tablet, it could be a game console through something called the Joy Dock, which you can buy in a bundle. You can have a totally portable setup utilizing a Nintendo Switch, or you can use something like this Pocket TV device, which has a large battery and Android TV built in. You've got your streaming services, your Netflix, your YouTube, and you don't have to deplete the battery on your smartphone. You can purchase these in a bundle with either of these two devices depending on how you plan on using it, but obviously you can send any video signal you want into these in order to have a more immersive video experience. And when it comes to something like a Nintendo Switch, obviously you can connect it to an external display, but that display is not going to travel with you. This creates a package that can travel with you, sort of save your neck a little bit from having to hunch over and look at your Nintendo Switch for extended gaming sessions. But I guess the same would be true for watching movies or other video content. When it comes to gaming as well, it's important to note there's very low input lag and 120 hertz. Whatever game device you want to connect, that's going to be a benefit. First thing, the glasses themselves, Air 3S, and like look how tiny that package is to travel with, and light. This is a totally different approach than something like what Apple's doing with Vision Pro. Like this is lightweight and small first. Now the performance is obviously gonna be different than something like the Vision Pro. This is way more affordable as well. But as an accessory that you primarily watch video on, this might do the trick for you. There they are, look at that. Ooh. Silver, adjustable as well. So this joint here actually adjust, you can see. So regardless of how your head is configured, you can get a comfortable fit and the right angle. These are really stiff clicks, but the good part of that is once you have your setting, it's likely gonna stay there. So here you can see the nose pieces. These are like little pillows. We have some buttons as well. Volume for the built-in speakers. Of course, you can also use headphones if you want a more private experience, but they do have something called whisper mode. It's essentially gonna make it so that people around you also can't hear what you're listening to. As far as connecting to them, your USB port is on the end, so that'll just go down the back of your neck there. So from the front, you know, they kind of look like regular glasses. When you get to the side, you can see obviously they're fitting differently and a little further away from your face in order to accommodate the field of view. But they are light. I mean, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing goggles at all. Like if I was just chilling on an airplane or a train, even a road trip in the back seat, that's kind of one of the biggest things with these types of devices is it comfortable enough where you sort of forget you're wearing it and you just get interested in whatever content you're looking at, or are you constantly reminded by this weight on your face? And I think the reason they're calling this series Air is because they're trying to make it as lightweight as possible. Also inside of your travel case, you're gonna get your USB cable, and as you can see on one side is a little bit of a right angle to it. That just means that it's gonna fit better behind your ear. Now this other side can go into your smartphone, tablet, or other device, your gaming device, or in this case, this Pocket TV. Also in the package, if you wanna use a prescription inside, this will act as an insert. You would take this to your local optician. They could make up some lenses to match your prescription. So that will essentially all fit into this tiny little travel kit, which could go in your bag along with your other gadgets and not take up too much space. The Pocket TV, which is next, this is an option. I mean, obviously, like I said, you could just use your smartphone, but this has a large battery in it. I think it's over 6,000 milliamp hours, has micro SD expansion, has all your streaming services, and it lets you preserve the battery life on your phone. Plus your input is something that's just a little bit more comfortable. Even though I can see around the outside of these, like I could easily see my phone and modify what I'm watching, but the immersion might be a little higher if I just have a touch-based input and my thumb sort of knows the navigation without the need to look at it. So you have a power button here, this navigation wheel and click button in the center. We can also use voice in order to interact. It is running Android, obviously. Dedicated buttons that are tactile for volume and home and back. And here we have DC 5 volt input if we want to send power pass through. And then we have our separate USB to the headset. Now lastly, this is another option that they sell with the glasses. It's called the Joy Dock, and this is gonna enable you to utilize your Nintendo Switch, which I think is an interesting use case scenario, because that's the type of thing that you spend extended periods of time on, and you certainly use during travel. I see lots of people use them during travel. And in this case now, you have a much more sort of ergonomic and potentially immersive experience. This thing has its own built-in battery as well, which means you're gonna get extended battery life for your Nintendo Switch. Here is actually our clip, which is gonna allow us to mount this dock directly to our Nintendo Switch. And by the way, this is a 10,000 milliamp hour battery in it, so that's gonna extend the battery life of your Switch by quite a bit. And here we can actually check our battery life. We have our power input, once again for pass-through. This obviously is gonna be our port to send to the Switch, and then we have our output to our glasses, which we'll be using as our display. All right, so I'm gonna go grab a Nintendo Switch and actually see what some games look like on these glasses. Nintendo Switch has been tracked down. Let's see if we can get this installed. Let's try the gaming first, actually. So they included this little clip here, clips on like that, and then this piece, the Joy Dock, can slide in. So it fits on the back like this, and then you can see how these two USB-C ports line up, and you use your short cable from one to the next like this. And then we take the angled section into the headset, and then the other side into the headset port on the Joy Dock. Now, as mentioned previously, we can do power pass-through if we want. We don't need it right now. We have lots of battery. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I can see it now. Just my field of view. Ooh, that's kind of a crisp display and rather large. I think I need to do one of these maybe. There we go. So that's gonna be where that adjustment comes in. Everybody's eyes are gonna be set up differently, right? It is very vibrant, more than I expected. I have some peripheral vision, like I can see my Switch there, but then I've just got this large screen, which is in this area here. I don't know how much bleed you can hear, but it's coming out of these 4 separate units, 2 on each side. And here, I'm gonna turn on whisper mode. So this is whisper mode, should be less bleed. Whisper mode off. Whisper mode on. I would say whisper mode off gives you more like sound around here, whereas when you have it turned on, it just feels a little tighter, less surrounding. This sound here is perfectly fine for playing privately, like on your couch or something. But obviously if you're on an airplane or something like that, you probably wanna stick some earbuds in, not really a big deal. I haven't played Mario Kart in a while. Let me get this little boost over here. Very immersive. It's crazy. It's like I'm like turning my head around a bend, you know what I mean? Oh man, you could play for hours like this on the couch or whatever. No neck cranked trying to look at the display. It's kind of hard to describe how big this display is. I know they say like 200 inches. It's way beyond what the Switch is giving you. Oh, the red shell smoke. Man, these guys coming for me now. Oh, he just passed me. This little savage passed me right there. All right, now I gotta bear down. Bear down, catch the victory. It's no big deal. Bear down, catch the first place, you know, Yoshi style. You could play on this. Because it's so lightweight, you sort of forget that you're even playing on it. It's crazy. Actually, you can get a shot. Like you can see the whole display there before it hits the mirror, right in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a fingerprint on it, but that's pretty cool. It's very vibrant, and I'm in a well-lit room. So like for me to try to get an idea of how big this actually is, like I look at this wall over here and I imagine, okay, there's a TV mounted on the wall. How big is it? And we've had 100-inch TVs in here and it looks bigger than that. You know what? It does seem sort of like 200 inches. I'm speaking away from the mic. I think the key with these things is they just have to be as light as possible and as open as possible, because when you get into the headsets, they get heavy and they get hot. And then you realize you've got something on your face and you're sort of closed off to your surroundings. And if you're full immersion with like headphones and stuff, someone's creeping up on you. There's some downsides to that degree of isolation. Those things become more difficult to use in public for those reasons. Whereas this is a slightly more open experience. You still have your peripheral vision and you have something that's just so much more lightweight on your face and looks so much more like something that somebody would typically be wearing. You have to double take and be like, oh no, he's watching something on there or he's playing a game. But you gotta double take a little bit to see that, because just on their own, like especially head on, you know, they kind of look like glasses. They kind of look like glasses first and foremost. Now what happens if you plug into a smartphone, in this case an iPhone? Oh, instant, just there. Open YouTube. Shoplifter destroys Target while fleeing police. Landscape. Oh man, I can see my notifications, I can swipe, I can turn it to landscape mode, and then I can just move my viewpoint up here, and all of a sudden I got this huge screen and a straight neck, and I'm leaning back on the couch. I can still go and pause it. I could talk to Mo sort of out the side of my glasses here, or I could just tip them down like that. Yeah, what do you think about that? I could just tip them down like, hey, how you doing? I could even eat lunch while I'm watching over here. I can see people using these. Like, I don't know that a lot of people are gonna use them for work or like to display a laptop. I think it's mostly for content consumption. Whether it's iPhone or Android, I mean, everything's Type-C now, so it just maps accordingly. Now we move over to this device, the Pocket TV device. Power this up. Cool. Okay, Google TV boot up logo there. Now, I currently have this thing plugged into the wall as well. That's why I have the second cable. But when you have this fully charged up, you're only gonna have the singular cable from the headset to the Pocket TV device. Yeah, I mean, this is like if you've seen Google TV installed on a display, that's exactly what I'm looking at right now. So I see the For You section, movies, shows, apps. Unlike on my phone where I gotta look down at it, here I just sort of stay looking central, and I understand that I'm gonna move across this interface just by clicking left and right. Every app is here: YouTube, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Crave, Apple TV, Sportsnet is here. Let me check some sports. Just watching baseball in here. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm gonna turn the volume up. See, that's the other thing. It's nice to have the volume right here. Like, oh, I like this little device. This is kind of nice. Looks great. Baseball looks great on here. If I was just watching by myself on the couch, I'm not even gonna add headphones. It's good enough for me. Mo, did you see what baseball looks like on here? Here, just look at this. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's vivid. I mean, this is pretty sick. This is very vivid. It might seem more vivid than like a regular TV. I thought it would be kind of disorientating, like having the TV move with you, but it feels fine.
I think it's because it's far enough away from you. So the benefits here are obviously display size, sharpness, and comfort, ergonomics. As I said, use case scenarios, travel, an airplane, bus. You know, oftentimes you end up in a hotel room. Sometimes the TV in the hotel room, what does it even have on it? It has no streaming. It just has like a couple local channels, and it could be old. You just pop this out and lay in bed and you could watch a movie like no problem. You're gonna totally forget you're wearing this. Anyway, that's pretty cool. This is the latest, and it's an improvement over the previous version. It is the Ray Neo Air 3S. And a bunch of different ways to buy it with these bundles or on its own. So if you want to learn more, head down to the description, click the link down there.